for Tara. So I'm talking about.
So again, this is just a quick video while we wait on everyone to join. And once it's done, then we'll officially get started.
Hi, my name is Sentwale Olushola.
And I'm Swatara Olushola.
The East African Investment Tour is a great opportunity for potential investors like you to expand their horizons and explore the wide range of economic opportunities available to them. One of the principles of Kwanzaa is Ujamaa, which is the Swahili term for cooperative economics. This principle encourages us to initiate our own businesses as well as invest in and support the businesses of our brothers and sisters. This tour offers a unique opportunity to learn about the different economic opportunities available in East Africa. Participants will be able to learn about the different types of investments available as well as opportunities for setting up businesses in the region. All of this is to facilitate a greater appreciation of the region and its potential for investment.
In addition to exploring economic opportunities in East Africa, this tour also provides an opportunity to foster invaluable relationships. By connecting with our people in the region, you will be able to learn more about the culture and history of the region and develop a sense of community and collective responsibility. We are realizing and reinforcing Ujamaa.
Overall, the East Africa Investment Tour is a great opportunity for new and seasoned investors to explore the different economic opportunities available to them while fostering relationships with other investors, entrepreneurs, and business people in various fields. This tour is an excellent opportunity to explore the potential of East Africa and learn more about the greater impact one may have as an investor.
Investing in African people and their culture is one of the most effective ways to empower them and preserve traditions. This can be done by investing in education, healthcare, and infrastructure in African countries. Additionally, investments should be made to promote and preserve traditional African art, music, and literature, as well as to support local entrepreneurs. Investment should be with the intention of developing strong cultural institutions and resources that can help African people preserve their culture, celebrate their heritage, and improve the general quality of life. Our vision is to create an African-centered investment consultancy that facilitates empowerment and sets up operational infrastructure globally, so that we can set an example and create a diverse legacy for marginalized people. We strive to empower these communities through education, financial literacy, and capital investment. We will be a catalyst for tangible change, creating generational wealth and financial freedom for generations to come.
Our mission is to connect investors and entrepreneurs of the global African community with opportunities for economic growth in emerging markets throughout various African countries.
Join us in East Africa. You'll be glad you did. All right. So for everyone we have here, let me make sure everyone can hear. Mommy Mara can hear now. All right. I'm gonna upload the agenda into the chat box so that everybody has it. And we'll follow that. If you have questions during the presentation, you can put those in the chat box and we'll answer them. We'll answer them at the question and answer portion of the presentation. Can everyone see?
Yes.
Okay, confirmed.
Yes.
All right, great. So you know where you are at the interest meeting for the East African Investment Tour that's happening next fall. The dates are October 11th through the 22nd, 2023, going through Tanzania, Rwanda, and Kenya, okay? That's not all of East Africa, but it is a large portion of it. There's also Uganda, there's also Burundi, there's other places. This is our inaugural tour, meaning it's our first one, and it will be the first of many. We're partnering with a dynamic organization called Teaching Artists Institute. They have a branch that is Thai Tours. And we're partnering with them to make this, what was once an idea, a reality for all of us. we're starting with East Africa because that's where we are and that's where we have our firsthand experience, because we don't want to not speak from experience. We want to tell you what we've done and what's possible for you and what's possible for us as a collective. All right, so we're welcoming everyone coming out today, and then we'll do introductions of ourselves, Baba Haki and Sister Kim.
So welcome everybody to the East African Investment Tour interest meeting. Today we will explore many opportunities for investment in East Africa and the potential for mutual benefit. As we embark on this journey, let us remember the Kwanzaa principle of Ujamaa, which encourages us to build and maintain our collective economic strength and to share resources in our communities. By embracing this principle, we can turn our investments into sustainable sources of wealth and growth for all.
Yes, thank you, Baba Sintwali. You can tell us more about yourself. And
Introduction. Okay. So my name is Sintwali Olushola. I am one of the operators or curators of the investment tour. My family and I, we're currently in East Africa, located in Rwanda, Nyamata, Rwanda, also Kigali. We have a business that will be starting very soon in the first quarter of the year. And we also have the investment tour. We have an investment in a pretty sizable investment in Tanzania, and that should be finished within maybe like the first half of next year. Let me see. We're really looking forward to doing business with everybody. It's a lot of learning and growing to do, and there's a wealth of experience that we have to share with everybody. And our time here, it has been very fruitful, and we really want to be able to not only share these experiences, but also bridge East Africa as well as to our people in America.
we don't want Africa to feel as far away as we know it does for many of you. Likely not all of you. Some of you we know personally, and we know you travel, and Africa might not feel as far away, but for a lot of our people, you say you're going to Africa and it just feels like
We're going to another planet.
yeah, like an impossible trip almost. It's not even thought about in the same way as some other countries, as far as proximity to America. It just feels far when you say Africa. But it's really closer than you think. Reaching our people here is much easier than we think, especially when you have people like me and Baba Sintwali on the ground who are able to facilitate those connections. So yes, Africa is not far away. Contributing to the infrastructure and developing business here or investing here is not out of reach or impossible goal. It is very attainable. A little bit goes a very long way here as far as the US dollar. And that's in Tanzania, Kenya, and Rwanda. A little goes a very long way. So I just don't want you to feel discouraged, like this is something that's outside of your tax bracket or something that's just, way too expensive. I don't know if I have anything extra to invest or put to the side, or what could I do that's even worth investing in with just a little bit that I have. You can do more than you think, okay? And I'll get through introductions more before I get into detail about anything that we're doing. So let's go to Baba Haki and then Sister Kim.
Okay. All right. Habagani, everyone. Hope you all are wonderful. It's a beautiful day. I'm here in Baltimore, Tubman City. We call it Tubman City. Harriet Tubman worked in this area. She was from Eastern Shore, where my family is actually from. So I'm happy to be here and pleased to be here as the president of the Teaching Artists Institute. Our founder, Kim Poole, is the visionary of this movement organization. And I have the pleasure to share the vision of what the Teaching Artists Institute has established. And we are excited about this partnership, shall I say. Just a little about myself. I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland. I still work in public service in the city of Baltimore. I have been in the cultural, African-centered, Pan-Africanist community up and down the East Coast, marketing books and attending lectures, bringing speakers. I co-authored a book with Dr. George Frazier, and attended a lot of different conscious lectures over the years and been a part of different organizations over time. So I just say I'm aware of many of the different organizations out here that have been in the community for some time. So seeing that and knowing the need to do this work, I was inspired by the founder, Sister Kim Poole, and the Teaching Artists Institute started about 7 years ago. Initially, we did most of the work in the west part of Africa, going to Ghana and the Gambia, and then later Uganda. I came on board in 2020, although I knew Sister Kim, the founder, throughout those times. I just sort of supported, on the ground here. But during COVID, when many of us got our awakening, as well as President Trump was in office, that should have been a light bulb for many of us to open up our minds to repatriation or even just going. And so some of us need different levels of pushes, different openings in society, or as Huey P. Newton would say, we seize the time. And so I seized the time as well as the opportunity to travel to Tanzania during this time. As many of you may or may not be aware of, Tanzania and I believe Brother Swat Tale, you said Madagascar, I believe, were the only African countries that were open during COVID. And so we not just went by ourselves, but we interestingly took a delegation of people that wanted to go to Tanzania. Initially, we went there for a conference to put on our conference, and we're very pleased that President Magufuli opened that up. And so what happened from that was sort of like a vacuum of interest, and we later discovered that there were many Black people from not just the U.S., but other parts of the diaspora that came to Tanzania during this time. Sister Tara can share a little bit of those experiences. And so, but understanding for me, my motivation for just touring and taking a group, I think we had like 10, 11 from the US and two others from different, parts of the diaspora came with us initially. That was 2020. But Tanzania has a history of supporting freedom liberation movements, of course, from I'm sorry, the former president. It's slipping my mind. I got Jomo Kenyatta in my mind, but somebody please let me know the president that many people are aware of. I apologize, but so we were inspired during that by that many Black people in America. When we think about Pan-Africanism, we think about Tanzania as not Magufuli, way before that, during the 60s. Gosh, I see in this picture right now, but during the as well as we think about Ghana and Kwame and Nkrumah. Yes, in Nyeri. Thank you. Julius and Nyeri. How can I forget? Okay. But so with that being said, there was a large percentage of Black people that just, went to Tanzania during 2020. Sister Tara and her husband being one of those couples. And so we are excited about that. So later in last year, 2021, we did I think 2 tours to Tanzania with different groups and one to South Africa where we called it the Magufuli and Mandela East and South African World Tour. So we got a strong, connections, and not just, the Arusha area where Brother Swatali and Sister Swatara were living, but also in the Bagamoyo area, as well as Zanzibar and down south to some of the southern regions. So we partnered throughout, as well as Dar es Salaam, of course. So we are excited that we've been able to do a lot of this work, and just this year we went to Kenya. So we had a conference there, had a delegation about 12, 13, and Sister Swatara came to Kenya with us. So we actually have gone to some of the spaces and places we have people on the ground. We don't go where we're not, invited. This is not just, this is actually work. And so I'll just add on a little bit more as time go on, but we're excited about this partnership. This is a little different. We have, someone from the US who's actually repatriated, someone actually on the ground working for this. So we expect a whole smoother operation than, we've had. So we're excited about the opportunity, but if I want to throw something else in there, I will. But I don't know if Sister Kim is on. But thank you, Sister.
Thank you, Baba Haki, because highlighting those connections and all the places we've been together, that's important, and it is gonna add to the quality of this tour and what we're able to expose everyone to. Sister Kim. Sister Kim, can you hear me? You're muted.
Maybe come back to her then, Sister, if necessary.
Okay, I was doing a microphone check. I heard background noise. So when Sister Kim returns, then she can do her intro. Baba Haki shared a lot about the organization, Thai Tours and Teaching Artists Institute, and he really just touched the tip of the iceberg. They really are on the ground in Africa doing the work on behalf of our people, connecting our people to the continent and actually really getting in the trenches and being an asset to the community. They are. That's why we linked up, because I wouldn't work with an organization who wasn't working in that capacity and who wasn't being really real about it and having that desire for change come from a real place within them, not just, looking for funding from somewhere. It's not a nonprofit. And so all of their support comes from the people, and all of the work that they do is for the people, much like MBUF, which is another organization I work with. That's also not a nonprofit. The support comes from the people and the work is done for the people. And that's what I prefer. And so, it's really an honor to work with them. They have a very long resume. He only talked about East Africa, but they do work all over the continent, okay? West, North, South, East, Central, all the way across, you name it. They have been there or have a connection there or are going there. So yes, you are in good hands. I say all that to say, you are in very good hands. So let's move forward to the overview of the agenda. This is what we'll cover today, and I'll reach Sister Kim on my end, but I can also explain the itinerary and tiers. Some of the opportunities, just talking about the different sectors, we won't get too far into detail, but is once you're here and a part of it or living here, then you see the potential for growth. I mean, it's really just a blank canvas ready and ripe. So we definitely want to not take advantage of it, but pour into it. And then the benefits of doing so. We'll cover Ujamaa. We're preaching to the choir here, but we'll talk about it anyway a little bit. And then we'll open up to the part I'm looking forward to, which is questions and discussion with you all. And you can ask us anything and we can answer it and discuss it. I'll try one more time to get Sister Kim. And you all can also put questions into the chat box if you think of one while we're talking. And when we get to the question and answer portion, we'll go ahead and answer that.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. Is someone talking?
Sorry about that. I was on mute. So this is the tiers that you saw on our literature leading up to this and leading up to the tour in general. We have the ambassador tier, we have the regional expert tier, and we have the tourist tier. And I won't read exactly what's on the slide, but we'll go through each one. I won't go through each one in detail. You're able to see that, and if you want to keep this information, you can take a screenshot. It'll be yours. But the point is you're able to participate at different capacities that are conducive to you. If you want to go to Rwanda and Tanzania and Kenya with us, you are able to do that. And if you just want to stay in Tanzania, you're also able to do that, and we're able to accommodate both of those decisions. Okay. As far as the itinerary will be reflective of participation. I am sharing my screen. Can you not see my screen? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I see it. I see it.
Okay.
That's it. They may
Okay.
have, yeah.
Somebody asked me if I was sharing it, and I was like, oh no, how long have they not been able to see it? But they can see, you can see it. Okay. So the itinerary will be reflective of participation. For example, if everybody says we want to go to Rwanda, Tanzania, and Kenya, we don't just want to stay in Tanzania, then the itinerary will be reflective of that. If some people want to stay in Tanzania, some people want to go to all three countries, the itinerary will also be reflective of that. When Kim fixes her connection, she'll be able to come in and speak in more detail about that and how that will work. There are payment plans. There is a deposit that happens in March of 2023. That's when it's due. After that deposit is paid, then you will have one-on-one discussions with a representative of Thai Tours to work out the rest of your payment that works for you. So that's also reflective of your individual needs, okay? So that's how that will work. Moving forward, we're gonna go right up to investment opportunities in East Africa. Like we said before, we are here and we have invested. We have on the ground experience. We're not going to sit on the screen and say everything is perfectly smooth and it's all roses and marshmallows, because that wouldn't be the truth. As it wouldn't be the truth with starting business and investing in America. It's the same. Nobody in America who started a business will tell me, oh, everything has just been perfect the whole time and we never ran into anything, because that wouldn't be true either. And so that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna let you know, part of the reason we're doing it this way, because we could just say, oh, we highly, highly recommend you come here and do this, and then just leave you to do it on your own. But that's not
That'd be messed up.
that's not how we want to facilitate the process, because we've done things that people want to do. We left America, like Baba Haki said. We left America during COVID. At the height of COVID, our plane here was empty. It was maybe 5 other people on that flight, and then our family on this huge plane crossing the ocean. And we got here and we basically lived, I would say, a normal life, because the rest of the world was shut down and maxed up, and had all these rules and different things you had to do. Yeah, restrictions, guidelines, and it was just very. We really didn't want our children to experience that or have to live like that, and so we came here, and it was almost as if COVID didn't even exist. It was very surreal, honestly.
And when she says came here, she's talking about Tanzania. We didn't come to Rwanda until September, just a couple of months ago.
Yes. Well, I say East Africa because I don't say we left Tanzania, we just expanded. So Tanzania is very much still a part of the things we have going on, and now Rwanda is too. And we're grateful to even be able to say that. So coming here, living in Tanzania, we stayed there for 2 years. And then we stayed there for 2 years without leaving. Then once that 2 years was the amount of time it took for COVID to like have its climax and then its decline to where, basically everyone is quote unquote back to normal. And so when that happened, we traveled again and we came here to Kigali, which is another place ripe with opportunity, ready and waiting. What do I mean when I say ripe with opportunity? So in Kigali, for example, one moment, we have a baby. We had a baby in Tanzania. She's 11 months and very bossy. So you might hear her. I hope that doesn't rattle your bones too much. So for example, here in Kigali, where we are now, this area is called Nyamata. Nyamata is about 40 minutes outside of Kigali, okay? Nyamata is, I would call it a town. It's not really a city, like a big city like Kigali is, but it has everything. It has schools, it has hospitals, it has grocery stores, a big outdoor market is here. Lots of little businesses. I mean, pretty much everything you need is out here in Nyamata, where you don't have to go to the city if you don't necessarily need to. We normally go to the city when we want to do something, city like very fun or something like that. But outside of that, we have everything we need right here. And there's a lot of land around here. I know everyone is not necessarily looking into purchasing land, but I also know a lot of people are looking into purchasing land. And there is a lot of land for sale out here. But I would say the unique thing about the land that's for sale in this area in particular, and a little further down towards Bashora, is the development that's happening around here. They're about to put a big international airport right out here in Nemata. That's gonna increase the value of the land here exponentially and very quickly too. It's already done so. Some friends of ours from Jamaica bought a plot of land here maybe a year ago, and it's already tripled in value. Further down on the other side of the town, a lot of the government buildings are moving their main offices out here because it's going to be closer to the brand new international airport. So, now you have different sectors of the government having their main buildings in this area now, also increasing the value, bringing more families. They're building a huge international school that the president of Kigali, or president of Rwanda, is building. And that's also where, right here in this area. So ripe with opportunity. The area around that international school that's going to hold about 2,000 students has nothing. There's nothing around there. There's some houses, there's a small residential area, but there's no businesses. There's not a store. There's not a daycare. There's not a tutoring center or a computer lab. There's not a clothing store that sells uniforms or socks or, anything that they might need. None of that is there. It's just sitting there waiting to have something done to it. And another beautiful thing about Rwanda, or where we are, is that foreigners can own land outright. Foreigners can own land outright. Yes, you can get land in Tanzania. Yes, you can get land in Kenya, but there's a way you have to go about doing it. And, part of our pre-training for this tour, we would let you know how that's done and facilitate that process so that when you come here, you can see things for yourself in person. And, if you're ready for that part of the process, you can come and walk on your own land, or get things rolling and see how your operations are going when you come.
And so also it's one thing to hear what we're saying. It's completely different actually being here and seeing voids where an investment will be able to fill. So like she's saying, all these different things near the school and near the airport that could potentially be an investment is much more of a more fulfilling or a more concise view to be able to see exactly what you could do to be able to make areas like this that are fairly rural, make these areas improve and develop. And there's so many different areas like this where we are, not only in Rwanda being a much smaller country than Tanzania, but there's multiple regions throughout Tanzania as well as Kenya that could benefit from development. And it's not development for development's sake. It's in order to help people not only create jobs, but also improve their quality and standard of living. Because a lot of people in certain areas like this is not only is it very rural, but because there's a lack of development, the standards for what they know are a bit, I don't want to say less than or smaller,
no.
But it's just different standards. So I'll say this: there's a lot of people who don't have access to hot water. Development in rural areas, hot water is very soon to follow after a couple different businesses get initiated, simply based off of people and not only having more money in their pockets, but realizing that, oh, there's foreigners coming here chances are the foreigners are not living the exact same way that I am. There's a conversation that could be built, and just the what is it, like the cultural exchange, that's probably even more powerful than the investment, because you would be expanding people's minds to the point where your presence is going to be just as beneficial as a financial influx, to the point where, not if it's not the immediate person you're talking to that has a life-changing experience, it will be their child or their children's children and so on.
That's right. For example, in an area here called the Shora, it is a very rural area. No hot water, likely no running water.
Right.
No running water. We have a plot of land out there, and when we're done with this part, we'll show you guys some pictures and footage. But we have a plot of land out there that's right next to a lake. And there is no infrastructure there. There's no electricity. There's no infrastructure for running water, but there could be. And so what we're doing there is building an apiary, raising bees, and we'll get into that more later. But the people surrounding that area, like he said, we're not saying that what they're doing is less than. We're saying that it's different. Are they living just fine and have been living just fine for centuries, not having electricity out there? Yes, absolutely. Do they wake up with the sun and go to sleep with the sun? Yes, absolutely. Have they been going to the lake, on foot and getting the water that they need? Yes, they have. So what we're talking about doing is making it so that, say, for example, now I have a spigot here or running water here that I could use for bathing, cooking, etc. I just cut down 4 hours out of my day that it would have took me to go get enough water I needed for my day. What can I do with that 4 hours now? Could I maybe sew some dresses and sell them? Could I maybe learn a trade? Could I do something else with that time? Or what could I do with solar panels? What if someone came out here manufacturing solar panels? What could I do with that electricity that I didn't otherwise have? Then people start thinking, wheels start turning. A hydroelectric generator. What can I do with that resource? People start thinking, wheels start turning. And especially the children. Yes, there's a paywall with most of the schools, even the public schools here. It's not very high and it doesn't seem like a lot to us, but for somebody who doesn't have it, it can seem like a whole lot. And you wind up with a lot of children with not much to do other than wait on their parents to finish working or get in trouble. That's part of the reason we're building the literacy center out here. Jay Essence is the head of that project and the brainchild behind it. But the literacy center is much like a school, except it's going to focus on teaching people to read from toddlers all the way up to adults. And what will they do, with that skill now? Before I wasn't able to read, now I am. Before I didn't know any English or alternative language to be able to converse with more people. Now I do. How is that knowledge? How is that infrastructure? How is that building affecting the fabric of this society?
So real quick, not to divert too much from what we're talking about now, but just kind of to switch gears. I read somebody mentioned collective philanthropy. And so that's basically one of our previous projects that we did in Tanzania. And that was the purpose of that project was to expand the water storage capacity for a village of up to 8,000 people. Some of y'all know about it already, so I'm gonna kind of shorten it. But we did fundraising, a lot of research before the fundraising, made sure that we were able to expand onto the existing infrastructure and make sure that people who either had to travel to the source of the water, like at the river, no longer had to do that long travel. Young girls who were take that long that journey in the morning, endangering their lives. They didn't have to do that anymore. So not only will the financial development to the point where you can create businesses and jobs, but in the same line as doing that, creating clean water storage capacity, or bringing electrical poles, creating schools or literacy centers. There's so many different possibilities that exist based on us already knowing what our own communities needed and now have. And now we know that we can spread that same benefit, that same collective action in the continent. So a lot of our ingenuity and different ideas that we have, that we either already are doing now or just need a bit of a push to happen, they can happen here. And like Sotara said earlier, a little bit of money goes a long way. So if we're looking at any of these business ideas that we're talking about doing now, that might cost tens of thousands in the US, we're talking hundreds or thousands of dollars in East Africa. And I'm saying East Africa, but throughout the continent, there's varying levels of currency disparities compared to the USD. So $1,000 in any of our pockets is going to go fairly far in Tanzania. It could go fairly far in Zambia, or any almost any country where we could bring our ingenuity, collective philanthropy, and collective work and responsibility to these different areas. And so much growth can occur based off of these different initiatives that people have in mind, and that we could help foster as well.
That's right. I mean, just think about if you were, in Atlanta 40 years ago, and it was mostly land.
Like, that was a perfect time to make an investment.
That was a perfect time to make an investment if you had it. And that's basically what we feel like here.
That's literally what it is. We got here maybe 5 years prior, then with the same intentions, the same ability to make investments, then we'd be in a much better space financially to be able to have more to show, as opposed to just getting here within a year and saying, look, this is what we are doing at the foundation of these different opportunities. So without it having been that 5 year span ago, it's now. So now is the perfect opportunity to be able to get on the ground floor of one of these different initiatives. And the investment tour, like I was saying earlier, the investment tour is the perfect opportunity to come see it for yourself. So not only would you be able to speak to different business owners and different entrepreneurs who are already having businesses operating, but just need a bit of investment or a little bit of a push to take them to the next phase. Hey, Kim, they would be able to, you would be able to benefit from, you'll be able to benefit from being here and being able to see exactly where your niche would be, where you could fit in and begin to change people's lives, not only of other people, but for yourself. So you want to get Kim in?
Yes, I see Kim now. So she can do her intro now and say, whatever you like, Kim. Now that we're deep into the topic. But go ahead. This is Kim Poole, the founder of Thai Tours.
Greetings, everyone. It's so nice to see you all with this interest. It's time for us as a community to just really take advantage of Ujamaa, cooperative economics. And so this investment tour is timely. I think that now that Swatara and Sentwali have talked about some of the foundational basics of the importance of recognizing opportunities on the continent, investment, I'm able to talk about some of the basics around the tour itself. Africa is still a symbolic landscape where in order to invest, you need to connect. You need to be adopted by a community. You need to be adopted by a family. We can no longer, as a community, afford to recreate the same systems of development that other communities that are investing on the continent have created and duplicated. The Chinese, they have now began creating colonies on the continent. They just come with their money and they buy. They don't ask permission. It's not diplomacy. They say, how much money do you need? And we'll give you that and then leave us alone. The Europeans, they don't even pay. They just come and take. And we know the history of that. I won't belabor the point on this Ujamaa Day. What I will say is that as Africans, repatriating with our businesses and our families back to the continent, we have how we develop has to be based on African-centered culture. And this is one of the opportunities of working in Thai tours. Because you're going on a Thai tour, it's important that you understand the cultural immersion that happens on a Thai tour. Our job is to make sure that you're exposed to the culture. If this is your first time to the continent, take in the symbolic landscape, meet the people, connect with the locals by eating food with them in their kitchens, go into the places where the food is made and then go to the farm where it's being grown, understand the value system and the language. These are some of the ways that we help. I'm sorry, hold on one second, that we help to enrich the experience. I know that I'm currently just an attendee. Swatar, you can go ahead and make me the host. And with Thai Tours, we are only doing work. We're only doing tours in places that we work all year long, right? So our tour company is very different from other initiatives where the company exists solely to do tours. Our secret weapon, in my opinion, are our curators, our unique curators that help tell the story of the regions where we work. And so we're excited that Sintwali and Swatar will be joining us as curators this year for the Ujamaa tour, because their unique experience as repatriates, their unique experience, not only as repatriates, as individuals, but leaders of their family, that to me makes them unique curators, telling a story that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And how much they care about this issue, it extends far beyond their expertise in investment, because they are investors themselves in the areas where we're going. But they care about this topic and they show that because they are examples of the work that they're doing. So I'm going to continue by telling you guys a little bit more about our company, our unique curators, and essentially what is a Thai tour in general. It's a journey, true immersion into a place. So Thai Tours, again, is the for-profit arm of our organization, the Teaching Artists Institute. We offer a unique artist-led travel experience that allows those who embark authentic exchanges with people of the world. So for us in the Teaching Artists Institute, art is everything. It's innovation, it's design thinking, it's ideas. That creativity is what fuels entrepreneurs. So when we invest as African-centered entrepreneurs, we cannot afford to duplicate the stock exchange, right? We have to invest from a perspective that is holistic, one that is based on cooperative economics, co-sharing. How do we look at our community find needs in that community and fill those needs. What do we need here in the diaspora? How can we trade with our brothers and sisters on the continent, Africa being the bread bowl, the resource bowl of the world, to benefit both sides? Fair trade, right? What does fair trade really look like? How are we using creativity to have these conversations? Having Swintwali and Swatara lead this conversation next October 11th through the 22nd through Tanzania, Kenya, and Rwanda is a gift to the diaspora. And today is a perfect day to have that conversation. So I'm going to continue with our next slide. Give me 1 second. I just want you all to understand the balance. So we have with Thai Tours, customized itineraries, knowledgeable artists, guides, and flexible schedules. So earlier I said that we only do tours to regions where we're already working anyway. So what does that mean? That means that we have initiatives, programs, and offices. We have land already. We're building institutions. And so the work that we are uniquely positioning you to take part in is already happening. So you're benefiting from our trial and error. We're telling you, hey, you don't have to pay. You don't have to make expensive mistakes. Culture is the new currency. Learn from our mistakes. Learn from the time that we've already taken over the past 10 to 15 years in this industry and build your business, build your entrepreneurial venture on that solid platform. You're benefiting from Sintwali's and Swatara's experience in repatriation. They moved. They picked up, they packed. You ask questions, how did you ship your things? Or how did you register your business? How much did that cost? Let us guide you through that process because we've already done the work. So for the Ujamaa East African Investment Tour, your knowledgeable artist guides have the experience to use their creativity and explore investments in East Africa's landscape. But then the schedule is flexible. This is only the beginning, as Swatara mentioned earlier, of many investment opportunities and tours. So maybe East Africa is not what you're looking for. Still, come with us. Come to Ujamaa. Come east and learn about Akubulan Investments. Their company, AI, they're on the precipice of cornering the market in Africa, looking at the grassroots, being in touch with those that are living and repatriating and doing business in West Africa from Cote d'Ivoire all the way over. Wait, I see all the questions Kim just mentioned are able to be answered. Yes, they are, Sintwali. I see you in the comments. And if there are questions as we go along, please feel free to stop me. But it's very important that you understand that this tour is your first step in saying, I am committed to expanding my investment portfolio, to beginning my investment portfolio. And it's holistic because I'm not only investing in profit margins financially, but I'm investing in my personal holistic development. I'm investing in a paradigm shift, in a cultural shift, in the awareness of my family. And so I think that's really important. This tour is the first step towards increasing your investment portfolio and then expanding that work with Akubulan Investments with Swatara and Sintwali. Last but not least, I'm going to continue. I just want to go on to some of the reasons that we don't take tours, right? We call it Thai Talk. Every company, every business has a culture that you create around it, and language is how you disseminate that culture. So in the Thai Tours, we call it Thai Talk. Thai Talk 101. These are some of the reasons that we don't invest, that we don't travel. What do we say? We have bills, right? If you're in the US, especially if you're Black, you were designed to be a part of this system. So bills aren't going anywhere. But guess what? Those bills will be right there when you get back. So pay yourself first. Go on this tour. Learn about opportunities to use your dollar in a market that's going to benefit you, so that you can see an investment, so that you don't spend 30 years paying down a mortgage on a house that when you actually own it, you die and give it to somebody else, so that you can go and take your 30,000 instead, build a property on a continent, and every summer, even if it's only every summer, you go with your family to spend 3 months there when you're off the plantation, if maybe you're an educator trying to save our young people in this school system. And so that you can see your dollar work for you. Maybe if you pay yourself first, eventually, yes, you'll still have those bills, but you'll also have some institutions that you can show for. And then I hear people say, travel to Africa, that's for people with lots of money. No, if you're a Black person, especially if you're in the diaspora where we are, travel to Africa is not a luxury. For Black people, it's a birthright. This is your right to go at least once on that soil and look at the economic principles that are built there, like Ujamaa, and see how they function on the ground. Don't just read about it. Don't just watch YouTubes about it. Go for yourself and see in the marketplace. Very simple things, how the mamas run the marketplace. Stop buying Jordans, start buying experiences. We are very materialistic in the diaspora. Go to the continent, see for yourself on the Ujamaa tour. Go and see how materialism isn't a barrier to development. Even a man that is living off of his land that doesn't have much is still doing a small business. It doesn't take $1 million to start a business on a continent. And last but not least, even if you don't know if you want to invest yet on a continent, come on this tour and use it as an opportunity to de-stress, to clear your mind, to decide what's next in your life. Because maybe you're going to use your 2-week vacation in Vegas or Bahamas, but you would spend just as much money in Vegas or the Bahamas as you would in East Africa. And the knowledge that you would receive after this experience is going to benefit you and many generations behind you. Swatara, I hope I didn't take too much of you all's time, but we're looking forward to this partnership.
As are we. Thank you, Sister Kim. And I hope that was crystal clear to everyone. If it was not, again, feel free to jump in the chat box until our open discussion question and answer portion. I'll go ahead and, Kim, can you make it so that I can share my screen again, please?
Yes, ma'am. Let me do that.
I put in the chat box just a fun fact about Rwanda anyway, when she started talking about China and, all these other folk coming in here and without hesitation, because they know it is not an unknown in their communities, okay? They haven't been fed stereotypes about themselves that has them believing whatever they like about Africa or African people, or it being dirty or stinking or not worth it. Everybody's poor, everybody's hungry. They'll tell you that, and then they'll come get married and have children
and have loads of property. But look, we were in New York and I smelled so many horrible smells relative to having been in Tanzania and Rwanda.
Okay.
It's bad. So it's there. Now I'll say this, while there are areas that generally don't smell good, it's mostly livestock. And so if you like in a major city area or even in a rural town, it's not going to be a whole lot of funk, just indiscriminate funk just going around. There is going to be a plethora of experience of sensory input, but a lot of it isn't just stink like that.
And then another thing, what we're proposing, this tour, not even proposing, it's happening. We're proposing that you participate in it, but Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda, there are Tanzanians who have not been to Rwanda, who have not been to Kenya. There are Kenyans who have not been to Tanzania or Rwanda, and vice versa. It's Rwandans that haven't been out of Rwanda. There's Rwandans in Nyamata who haven't been out of Nyamata. Okay? Keep in mind that Africa is a continent. Again, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I don't think it always registers with people, especially if you haven't been here yet. But in conversation, like I just said, Tanzanians, there's some who haven't been to Rwanda, and it's right here, borders them. But there's also Americans who haven't been to Mexico. Like, it's not necessarily a really close place, but we're going to go through 3 countries on this tour, okay? And show you possibilities in 3 different countries. I don't know who else is doing that. I know that that is a completely invaluable experience. So let me get back to my slides. I was thinking while Sister Kim was talking about the possibilities, because that's where we are in the presentation, you know, different sectors that you could invest in or develop a business in. But don't think that you have an idea that's too small, because 9 times out of 10, either it's not here yet, or there's only 1 or 2 people doing it. For example, toilet paper. In the stores here, I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 different brands of toilet paper. That's it. I know when you go to the store in America, there's like a toilet paper aisle with like 20 different brands. Only 2 or 3 here, and they're not that great because toilet paper is an emerging market here. People have gone a long time without using it or needing to use it in the way that we were raised to. So something as small as toilet paper, something as small as light bulbs, napkins. Don't think that your idea is too small or irrelevant. And then every market you see here on the screen, I mean, even here, the whole country of Rwanda, they have several malls, like shopping malls, but none of them have anything children oriented. Like, you know, you go to the mall and you say, okay, y'all, go over there to the playground, or okay, you guys, go over there to the movie theater, or hey guys, go over there and, you know, do the arcade. Nothing. It's not here. And I don't even know if they thought about it. I mean, I don't know. We have some friends who are also expats here, and they opened a gaming lounge. It's not an arcade. There aren't arcade games in there. They just bought a few PS5s and a few Oculus sets and opened a gaming lounge. And there are people in there every single day. Why? Because that's the only one in Rwanda. I hope you have the level of understanding that I'm trying to portray to you. But yes, it's here and it's possible. We even, I saw somebody mention bees in the comment section, but that's the sector we chose to go into: agriculture, agribusiness. And we're building an apiary. It's actually, the building part is complete. It could use a coat of paint, but it's built. And it's ready to receive hives as soon as we're ready to put hives in there, it's ready to receive them. But we have a modern apiary built, and we've only been here since September. And investment wise, we're talking less than 2K. The beehives, each one, we could buy them individually, we get them all together. But you know, you may or may not know, beehives produce a lot of honey, and then it's bees, so they're going to work because that's what they do. If they're alive making honey. Okay. And so if one hive gives you 90 pounds of honey in one harvest, and you harvest them multiple times a year, I mean, this is not rocket science, and that's just bees. There are garlic opportunities out here, chia seed opportunities, sea moss opportunities. Some of the stuff I put into the event, if you're on Facebook, those weren't just, hey, we really want you to come. Those were real businesses, actual people we know. I don't know if Manasseh is still here. I see him, but he has a large plot of land right next to Arusha National Park. That's a national park with big safari animals. People go there all the time. People stay near that park all the time. He has a large plot of land there with a lodge in the process of being built. What could Manasseh do with an investment? What could you potentially make from investing in that? Okay. And we're inviting you to see it for yourself. Don't take our word for it. See it for yourself. We know everybody may not want to come. And in those instances, we'll still help you. We'll help facilitate those kinds of situations. But we are telling you right now in your face that we highly recommend you put your own feet on the ground and your own eyes on these initiatives.
So everybody, I've been answering a couple questions in the chat, so pardon my absence here. It's like Swatara was saying, it's vital for you to be able to come and see. From what I can tell, people do have a good intention for making investments, which really the willingness is probably one of the more important things. Just throwing money around isn't very sound, but the willingness is very, very important. So while it's very possible to make an investment through our firm, your ability to see where your money will be going and where it will be going, that's, to me, it's invaluable, because you'll have an understanding not only of the potential that could take place, but it could be a lot closer tailored to what you want to happen. And so if we're talking about starting a business of your own, we can make it happen with you, as well as investing in another an entrepreneur or an already existing business. Like Swatara was saying, the sister who there's a business that has that's focusing on CMOS and really sea related products, like what is it, CMOS and seaweed, and different products based off of those two natural resources.
All organic.
And the sister is ready for investment.
And it's not ready for investment like, oh, I really want to do this, I can't wait for an investor to come. It's ready for investment like, I already have a thriving business that's backed by the Tanzanian government, and I'm ready to take it to the next level. I'm already doing this. I'm already exporting. I already have a product. She's already doing all of these things. Yeah. She invites you to be a part of that. Okay? Find yourself within the framework of what she already has thriving. And you can see her business thriving in Zanzibar for yourself. Okay. And this presentation is not long, so you already know what Ujamaa is. Like I said, we're preaching to the choir, and we've explained it time over, how beneficial this can be, not just for us on an individual basis. You know, I know many of you who are on this call right now, and I know many of you who are willing to work together and do something together and profit on something together, okay? So that is Ujamaa in real life. Us even having the tour, us even having this meeting, because we could just stay here and, you know, not share anything, not share any knowledge. And you all just see us when you see us, you know, and it's, hey, do your thing, and you do you, we gonna do us. But no, that's not what it's about. Like, we are still focused on the global liberation of our people, period. There is nothing more sacred than that.
And so with the myriad investment possibilities that are present, some of our participants in this chat or in this call here, some of them are entrepreneurs and they have businesses that are looking for investors. The brother Godwin Manasseh, he is one of the he was extremely instrumental in making sure that the water project got complete, and it was in the village that he lives in. And we also did a second water project for the Maasai out near the Serengeti. And once again, he was extremely instrumental in making sure that those two ventures took place. And most of it was fairly nonprofit. It was needs based. These things needed to happen, so we put our desire for financial gain to the side to make sure that these initiatives were able to take place. And so one of the ways that it's imperative that I do my best to make sure that Manasseh's initiatives are being seen is in this setting right now. There's so the initiative that he has is called Watanzania Culture, and it's basically a tourism and lodging operation, basically where you would sign up with his tourism firm. You would have a place to stay on his property. You will have a tour, different tours to be able to engage in, and as far as that, and that's the participant part. But if we're talking about the investment angle, then he's looking for not only for investors to be able to be what is the term, passive, but also active investors. So if we're looking for passive investors, is as little to, like you said, a little bit goes a long way. So as little as $1,000, as much as $3,000 to $5,000, the more the better, because that's going to improve the growth possibilities. What investors could benefit from is when you come in so let's say you make an investment in Tanzania culture, you will make sure that you have your flight into Tanzania. You'll be picked up from the airport. You'll have lodging, and you also have a tour as part of your return of your investment as an investor. And so, and then that's me saying it, but I know for sure Manasseh will be able to explain a lot more, because it's what I explained was the like on the surface. There's a lot more that goes into facilitating a tour or facilitating guests at the lodge. So there's not only is that possibility there, but we also mentioned the sister with the CMOS. I know for sure that industry is growing exponentially in the States, and sourcing is very important. I know some people might not be very particular about what they have going inside of their bodies if their intention is just to improve their health. However, the source of what you are putting in your body is extremely important. So that's to say, like if you go to the grocery store and you get produce, you don't know where that produce is coming from. The safest way is to grow it yourself. And if you can't grow it yourself, then you want to buy organic. If you can't buy organic, then you kind of got to deal with what's on the shelves. The sisters or business that is currently in Zanzibar is not only is it all organic, but she has backing by the Tanzanian government to ensure that her business is able to get the push that's necessary. She just has to put up an initial, I guess the initial investment to get that government funding. If I'm not mistaken, that might be the case. However, if we're talking about making this, cooperative economics be a year-round thing instead of simply end of the year talking point, then there's people who are on the ground working, doing these different initiatives, and part of this whole this engagement that we have right now is for us to be a bridge, us and Kim and Haki, to be a bridge between everybody who's there in the States and all these different entrepreneurs and businesses here. So I could just talk about me and Swatara's businesses, but we're not hurting you for investment. An investment would be awesome, but we're not. It's
not just about like we don't. Yeah. It's not.
Ours is the afterthought. We're gonna make sure that that's taken care of, whether we get investors or not. But there's people who need investment because they don't have the same connections that we have to benefit from. There's many people here on this call who know who and how we are, and our intention is to make sure that the benefit of these different connections that we've had through so many different years and different circumstances of connection, it's time to put those to use. It's time to put them to work, not only for ourselves, but for other people who are actually worthy, people who aren't doing anything to harm the environment, people who are doing things that is fairly wholesome. we're not looking at, so I'll go ahead and put a little bit of information out there. I've received multiple proposals for mining operations. However, I would be remiss to talk about mining as if it was just pie in the sky, the best thing to do. When I've spoken directly to people who worked in the mines, and in the conversation, I'm looking at they're missing forearm, or they're missing a leg, or sitting in a wheelchair because both of their legs are missing. The mining is extremely dangerous. The mining is harmful for the environment. It's immensely profitable, but if we are talking about all of these different Kwanzaa principles, to me, the one that's missing is taking care of the earth. And I'm sure we could find a way to fit that into these different Kwanzaa principles. But
wow,
our ability to take care of one another is our ability to take care of the planet. And so while mining, like I say, it's immensely profitable, I would feel bad. I wouldn't be able to sleep well laying on a big pile of money, knowing that I harmed the environment, knowing that there's somebody who made exponentially less than me, but is also missing an arm or missing a leg, or even dead. And so the money is part of it. It's not the total thing. It's making these connections. We are here to make these connections, facilitate the connection between the different entrepreneurs and businesses and everybody else here on this call. And I think I rambled a bit too much.
You did not ramble. You gave us a mighty word, a mighty word. Okay. We need to add that 8th principle.
Absolutely.
Taking care of the earth.
Absolutely.
All right. So I know we've said a lot. We've given a lot of information. There's been a lot of adjacent going on in the chat box as well. I don't want to try to figure everything out as it pertains to our economic liberation and generational wealth building right now, right here during this question answer session. But I do want to get some of your questions answered regarding the tour, regarding possibility, regarding moving forward, next steps, and just realizing this for yourself. So the floor is open for questions. It's best if you click the raise hand button. There is a little square in the corner or some way. Andre knows how to raise hand. I'm trying to tell you
reactions.
It's under reactions. Thank you, Mama Imara. Okay, Baba Andre.
Yes, thank you. I love this, what y'all doing. I just had like some ideas and stuff. So there's a saying that say, when spiders unite, they could tie up a lion. And as y'all are looking out for these investments, y'all might see something and maybe it's something that, maybe I can't come up with $10,000, but maybe I can come up with 1,000.
Mhm.
And if 10 of us have 1,000, we can have 10,000.
Mhm.
So I would suggest, and people trust you. People trust you. And so I would suggest that keep your eyes open, and like if you was to say, hey, Brother Long, we can we can sell these coconuts if we get this land. And then hey, for $1,000 you can get 5% or whatever, however you figure that out. Then you know we could collectively put our shekels together. And you know, I'm much more interested in doing something like that. You know, even if I had the money to do something myself, I would rather us do it like that. Because when spiders unite, they can tie up a line.
That's right, Brother Andre, and thank you. And I want to just add in here that we are doing that on a familial level. Okay, so we came and started the farm, you know, ourselves with like our core family unit, us and children. Of course, whatever we do really belongs to the community. But in addition to that, we're also registering a real estate business. And that's on behalf of our
global community.
well, I'm not gonna say global, but I'm gonna say like our larger family. Our parents, brothers and sisters, cousins, uncles, and putting our resources together in that way. So it's definitely possible, you know, what you're saying, and that's definitely something we're open to facilitating, organizing as best as we can for, you know, whoever is serious about going that route. All right, Felicia.
Hey, Florence and Sally, good to see y'all. Has the information been posted about, I'll let you see my face. Has the information been posted about the cost of the tour and timelines for deposits and all those things?
Okay, so it wasn't posted. I did say it out loud verbally what that was.
I missed that.
So I'll say it again, and maybe as I say it, Baba Senswale can put it in the chat box, and Kim can speak more about it. Or Kim, you can say it.
No, I would love to say it. If you could post the flyer as I talk, that'd be great. That's a great question, Felicia. What I will say is, even though we are laser focused on tourism and hospitality, curating those experiences, art-led experiences, we're very much a business. And we've been doing this business primarily on the continent for just over 10 years. I started as just an artist doing the music business and having them hire our group to come and perform, etc., on their, I would say, the Chitlin Festival circuit. And they didn't care that I wasn't Jill Scott or Beyonce. They like, she can sing. It was always a stadium full of people. And listen, they paid for everything, me, and then I still got money. And I said, this is not the Africa they told me about, with babies' stomachs swollen with hunger, flies in their eyes. Africa has big money. And so that's how I initially started going around 2010. And so our business, I guess about 10 years after that, was started with hospitality and tourism. And even that was an outgrowth of the projects and sustainability that we began. Swatara, did you find that flyer yet? So as she looks for it, I say all of that to say this.
It's in the it's loading in the chat box, and once it's loaded up, everyone will be able to see it. I want to point out that it doesn't say Kenya, but Kenya is a part of it.
Okay, so as that loads up, just tell me when it's there so that we can share it, I guess, so that we can all see. But I say all of that to say Africa is a relationship-based economy. You cannot take your successful business tactics, no matter how Kwanzaa centered they are, and believe that that's going to make you effective on the continent. You need to go. You need to know the people. The man that grows your coconuts or the one that goes and gets your bees, you need to meet him at least once. It doesn't matter if he works for the next 3 years without you ever coming. If you want him to successfully not steal from you, you need to meet him and look him in his eyes at least once. It's not this virtual operation that Facebook told you existed, that Zoom during the pandemic told you would be effective. Come on this tour if you want to invest on a continent. Hey, come if you don't. And if you need to save up, do that. It's not a rush. Africa ain't going nowhere. But I will tell you this, momentum matters. Just the way that Swatar earlier spoke about Atlanta, it is time sensitive in the fact that the opportunities are becoming more expensive. The Africa that we knew is catching up to us. I'll say this and then I'll hope the flyer will be there because I'm not here in the capacity of perfect. I'm not here in the capacity of being the investment expert. I am here at the table as a business, just like all of you, as an investor. And so as we curate this tour experience for you, we just want you to know that we're working to create systems to protect you. So while Swatar is the expert with Centwali about what investments are available, which investments are going to grow your portfolio, et cetera, and then managing that for you, we, over the course of our company's development, have been creating relationships to protect your investment. So when you go to Kenya, you're not just going to Kenya like a normal tourist. You're going by the invitation of the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. The Minister of Finance will meet you when you come to the airport. We have a memorandum of understanding with the government. So any investment you do is not mom and John's pop. We have to protect what we're doing because we can't afford to fail. And so what we're saying is come on the tour so that you're a part of that umbrella of protection. Yes, AI, Akubulin Investments with Swatar and Centwali as our curators in general, they will work with your business. They will work with your investment, whatever is developed. What we're saying is if you come on this tour, you benefit from that umbrella of protection. Because for this tour, I can't speak for every other tour or everything else that AI investments will do. But for this tour specifically, anybody that you meet is going to be a part of your business as it develops in their region, and they have the official capacity to do so. I don't see the flyer being shared on the main screen. Normally it just pops up and it takes over. The video
share it on screen.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that everybody can see it.
I'll put it in the chat box.
Okay, Felicia, I want to make sure we get really specific to your question. So we know that there are 3 different packages. That middle package is only for people that are going to all 3 countries. $5,500 is what it costs. And let me tell you folks, this is bottom barrel prices. If you've ever traveled outside the country, shucks, if you've taken a good trip to Vegas, you know that you're going to spend at least $1,000 on the floor gambling in those nonsensical places full of smoke. So what we're saying is that every one of our tours includes your flight. It includes 2 meals per day. It includes all of your accommodations. It includes your expert training from AI investments, as well as all of your excursions. And so we're going to make sure you have the best of both worlds. You're going to get the safari. You're going to get the, the spa with it's in Arusha, Tanzania at the
Malay.
Malay, yeah. We love that place. You're going to get that. You're going to get the dance class on the beach with the local dancers. We're going to make time for both. Now, we have long days. You're going to be up all day and all night, but you're going to enjoy every minute of it. The Grand Malia Spa, that's the name of it. Thank you, Haki. And so that $5,500 includes all of that, your flight, your accommodations, your round trip, your information around investments, and all of your excursions. The $500, that is the first deposit that you need to be worried about. And it's due on March 1st. So that means you have the next 2 months to get your $500 together. And listen, this is an investment tour, and it's not for everybody. It's not that we don't want everybody to consider investment on the continent. Akubulin AI Investments is there so that no matter what size your investment is, they can help you manage that. But for this tour with Thai Tour as an investment partner, because we're facilitating this tour, we want you to know that this is not for everybody. We're not trying to introduce everybody. What we want to introduce is somebody that has the capacity to invest first and foremost in themselves, because we would not be comfortable leading an investment for somebody that doesn't even have the capacity to come to the continent and see what they're investing in. So if you're looking at the prices of these tours and that part is almost even a struggle, this is not the tour for you. There will be other tours after this. There will be other opportunities, but these prices, even for tourism, investment aside, are bottom barrel because they're all inclusive. So we're saying that March 1st is the first date you need. If after this presentation, you've decided you want to know more, Thai Tours will send you an application. That application will include the other 2 curators, 4 curators in total. It'll include your payment schedule. It'll also include basic information that we need around passport acquisition. Do you have a passport? Do you need help getting a visa? We can help you with all these things. We understand that you don't need to be an expert in travel to invest on the continent. You don't need to be an expert in getting a passport or getting a visa. We can help you with those details. We want to know, do you have the financial capacity to come and see what opportunities are even available for you and your family? And so March 1st, if you decide that you want to come with other people, you can get a discount. We consider you an ambassador. That means that you're going to bring a team. So your price is only going to be $4,000. That's free. Okay. We've worked in tourism for so long. I'm letting you know that if you come on this opportunity through 3 countries, your price was free. So forget $4,000. Yes, that's what you paid, but it only covers your expenses. And if you decide that you only have the capacity to consider investments in one country, we're going to suggest that you do that in Tanzania. So your price is $4,500. And that is also inclusive of everything. So if you know this is what you want to consider, please make that known in the chat today, or reach out to Swatara Sentwali or the person that invited you into the room today. We will follow up with you, discuss the tour application, the payment plan if you need one, and of course that initial $500 deposit on March 1st. Did that answer your question, Felicia?
Felicia.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, it did. Just one follow-up. To be on the ambassador level, how many people would you need to bring?
Yes, so you need to bring at least 2. At least 2 people. So that's you and your husband and your kid, if you want to consider this as a family. So it's maybe you and your 2 girlfriends from college that always said they wanted to do something with you and y'all never quite got it off the ground. Yeah, or maybe it's you and 2 other people on this call that want to see you win, because you guys, some of you already know each other. And it's like, guess what? We know that you have a great big mind and you're real smart and you research well, but maybe you don't have the money. So we're going to go, and we're going to make sure you can go for the cheaper price. So we're going to pool together to make sure you get it. That sounds just like that spider, the spider with the lion. Kind of, right?
Uh-huh. That's right. Okay. All right. Reverend Mike. That's my daddy, everybody. I couldn't hold it in.
Oh, bless the Lord.
Oh, hey, Dad.
Oh, did he get kicked out? He got kicked out that quick. Wow.
Oh, we lost him.
I got too excited. I caused a glitch in the system. Okay, he'll be back. Whenever he returns, I'll put him back on. I didn't see any other raised hands. It doesn't have to just be for questions. Maybe you have a comment. You can also make a comment. This is the time to do that. People ask, go ahead.
I see an incredible comment from Christopher Lester. He said, thank you for the clarity and transparency. He said, I do believe just because it may be rough now, doesn't mean one won't have the capacity to still make it, especially if there is a willingness to be present. Sacrifice brings success. And I think that's such a great comment. And I want you to know that first and foremost, I'm an artist. I'm an African-centered artist, and I'm vested in this working. That's why we're at the table helping to co-create this opportunity. If you were going to enter an investment portfolio, these prices, on a normal with any other investment firm, they wouldn't even be the case. They would make sure that their investors were pre-screened. When you go to a property, when you go to an opportunity, you have to have a certain amount in the bank before you're even allowed to bid. We want to see your bank statement. That's how it works in this capitalistic society. What we're saying is we're going to equalize the playing field, right? You don't have to show us how much is in your bank account. You don't have to bring a bank statement or a money order, cashier's check on the trip. We're saying that we're going to take you at your word. We're going to build with you. And willingness is the only currency you needed to show up at this meeting today. Having that been said, we want to know where you stand, and we want you to be open and honest about that so that we can tell you when you can come, not if you can come, but when, because a payment plan is just that. We can price you out. We can show you how much you need over the next year or 2 years. Maybe you need to come not in 2023, but 2024. And that's why Akubulin Investments exists, because they're now willing to be in that gap. And we're going to make sure that you have a holistic experience. That's why Thai Tours is here.
That's right. I mean, and that's really the only kind of entities I deal with, because at the end of the day, I have to sleep at night. I have to believe in what I'm doing. I have to know that I lived in my purpose that day. And working with any company just to work with them, that's just not how we get down. It's not. And if Kim wasn't, a real sister, if Baba Haki wasn't a real Baba, actually out here doing what needs to be done out of their love for our people, I would simply not be a part. We would not be a part. So that much you can know. iPhone 83229. Oh, that's my mama's number.
Family in the house.
Okay, mama.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to say hello and how much I'm enjoying all of this and learning about investments. And I'll be a part of any way I can because I believe in our people and I believe in y'all. So that's what I wanted to say. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Kim. Hey, everybody. All right. Peace.
Thank you, mama. Okay, Daniel said one thing you got right is about hospitality and connecting with the natives and being a part of the community. Yes, yes, yes. From on the ground, we can attest to that.
Yes.
We have already built a network in 2 countries now with people that cut for us.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's the realest way to say that.
Yeah.
They do. They are family. I could go to their house right now and get whatever I need, and vice versa. Family. And that is such an important part of this whole process. Young brother, actually our first official employee. I know.
Yeah.
His name is Deus.
Yeah.
Deus is 21. He's a college graduate. He majored in construction science. And when he graduated, because there's not a lot of business development out here, there was nowhere for him to go.
He had no job.
So it's him, a whole generation of him, just walking around with skills, riding bikes, giving people rides on bikes, and trying to save up for a motorcycle so that they can give people faster rides, or helping people carry groceries at the market. Filled with skills, and you would not know unless you were on the ground talking to them. You would not know. And so we were able to employ him, and I see 2 hands, we're gonna get to that. We were able to employ him and pay for his accommodations. Like, we got him an apartment, but that apartment for him is $15 a month.
Mhm. We paid for it for 3 months.
His apartment is $15 a month. Think about that. $15. And we just completely changed his life. Like 21-year-old went from living with his mama to having his own place and being walking distance from work. Doing what he loves to do and has skills and training to do. $15. All right. Sister Vanetta. And I will answer quickly Brother Andre's question in the chat box. English is spoken here. Dayu speaks English. Tanzania and Kenya are also English-speaking countries. Here, you will likely find French more readily than you'll find English, but there are people here that speak English. If you're talking about doing business here or anywhere in East Africa, I highly recommend you get on Duolingo and start practicing that Kiswahili. It has helped me out immensely. Some people don't speak English, but they do speak Kiswahili, and I've been able to get us by. Okay, Sister Vanetta.
That is the artist. Hey, Vanetta, before you go, everybody, Vanetta, easily one of the best artists that I've ever seen put some paint on somebody's body. Like,
that's right.
Thank you. I'm so sad I missed a couple of your pregnancies, but I was like, well, at least she's still going. I'm super excited for you guys. I don't know if you know that I share your information as much as possible. I tell everybody I know that you're there. I know my cousin is also in Tanzania, and I have another friend who him and his partner just moved to Kenya. And so I am constantly trying to get more people to understand that this is a very viable thing and a smart thing to do for business. Here's my thing. As a visual artist, I sometimes feel that I don't want to come there and take over or anything like that, but I also want to be able to contribute with what I do visually. And are you seeing opportunities for people like me in arts, visual arts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All you got to do, you could Google right now, Rwanda art. Google it. You'll okay. Art. So I'll say this, and I'll just put this out there as an example. There is an area in Rwanda, and it's the same is true for anywhere in East Africa, anywhere on the continent. People like art. People love visual art. There are communities that need to bring people in. Okay. What they're doing to bring people and foot traffic in is what? Painting. Painting beautiful images all up and down walkways, on buildings, so that it attracts people to come in. The people come in and they bring resources. And now somebody who wasn't able to sell XYZ is now able to, because they painted this beautiful flower on the wall.
Okay.
Like,
that's good to know.
Changing the community. Also, additionally, there's a participant who has traveled with us with Thai, Teach Artists Institute, a couple times. Her name is Shanna Lim. She is an American Asian artist, and she paints. She does body painting as well, but she made me aware of body painting festivals that happen on the continent. I had no idea. But they happen here, and like there's a space for them. So okay. you could come to East Africa for sure and just sew up the market. Like
all right, well, that'll be something I'm looking forward to. I'm definitely interested, and number one, he's not on here, but he's interested as well. He's looking for what he wants to do with his grown-up money. So yeah,
and,
I'm excited.
now that we know what you're looking for and we know what you need, we can help you in that process. We can look out for these spaces and places where we can plug you in and, make your process easy. Because
thank you.
we came blind, everybody. We had never been to Africa before we came here.
Yeah.
We had never been to Africa. We liquidated everything we had in America, packed up our stuff in suitcases, sold whatever didn't fit or gave it away, and we just came. And we've been gone ever since.
Yeah, we were actually planning on visiting before all the COVID, everything that happened with COVID. We were planning on making a visit, and that would have been our first foray into the continent. And then the various opportunities presented themselves, and it was time to make that move and just go all at once and see what we could get into. And it's been more positive than negatives, like, for sure. Like, I would not lie to y'all. Y'all probably would have seen us there back in America if it wasn't that good, or y'all probably
Seriously.
hear me like just railing against different governments and all these different situations if it was more negatives than positives. But it's been mostly growth, one hell of a learning curve, but learning is my thing. So it's been awesome, and the children are thoroughly enjoying themselves, and they getting experience that I don't think they can really have an understanding for it now. But when they get older, they won't even have to really tell anybody what they've been through. People will know that they're not dealing with just no average Joes and Janes. The conversation is going to be different. They world perspective is going to be different. They'll have a world perspective because they're going to be traveling around the world. So it's all pluses and ups from here.
Yes.
Wally, I
Thank you
think
so
that's
much.
beautiful. I just wanted to ask Vanetta, I know that we don't have much time, but could you just take a minute to say what you had in mind as it relates to the art?
Well, like they said, I'm a body painter. I'm a body artist, and I've been doing that for the last 30 years. And so recently, during the pandemic, I started getting back into illustration. So I've been writing and illustrating now, and pushing that forward. And I'm in school for animation again, so that I could get new skills from the 20 years back when I was in college. So right now I'm in this pivotal point where I really want to continue making art, but in a way that kind of expands who I am and expands the types of things I can do. So animation, illustration, painting are the things that I'm really focused on.
Well, it sounds like to me that you're going to have to go on 2 tours next year, because you may have to be an instructor for the Summer Learning Institute. I thought that's what I heard, and I wanted to make sure I heard it clearly. So I said that, and I really want you all to go to facebook.com/teachingartists, one word. I did post it in the group chat, and it's because, not that, I want to take away the focus from Ujamaa's investment tour, but when we say culture is the new currency, it just means that we're doing multiple things that bring value to our community. And so this is just one example of the type of tours that we're offering next year. And it doesn't mean, that if this type of investment isn't, if you don't have the capacity to do that, there are other ways to be involved. Please don't waste this opportunity or waste the time of AI investments. If you just want to go to Africa, this is not the trip for you. We have other trips. AI investments will be just fine, okay? There are lots of investment opportunities and investors that not only want to invest in Africa, but they have the capacity to. And I'm not saying you, Vanetta, you're probably balling out of control because graphic arts is really important right now. So especially when we had this hyper virtual world after the pandemic. So I'm not saying that you don't have the financial capacity. Please don't take that. But if you are just figuring it out, and you are interested in Africa and you just want to go, then stay involved. even after you decide, yes, I'm going to Africa, I'm going to do that with Thai tours. They have several tours throughout the year. Now I have a business and I want AI to help manage my investments. That's what their company does. This tour is not necessarily the only offering that their company has to the community. It's just one of the first. So, I heard what you said. You will be perfectly positioned to work with us. I'm definitely going to follow up with you, Ms. Berry, after this call. I hope that's okay.
That would be
Even
great.
aside from, offering you the application for this tour specifically, I also saw that there was some other questions about tour logistics and flights in the chat. I didn't know if Swatar wanted to address those now, but yeah, I just wanted to say that again.
Thank you.
The reason that we waste time, or the reason we don't get the results we want, is because we don't start with the right tribe and with the right agenda the first time around. So let's not waste each other's time. Let's come to this table if we're looking to invest on the continent. And if you just want to go on a tour, we have other tours for that.
Right, Sister Kim. Okay. I actually think we're at the point where we could wrap up this portion of the presentation. After this, it's just concluding, and I think that we've said enough to this group about what we're doing and why we're doing it and how you can be involved and how that'll be beneficial to our community at large, and to you on a personal level, if that's the capacity you want it to be beneficial. But there are possibilities, okay? And coming with us on this tour, you can see for yourself. You don't have to take our word for it. You can come and get integrated into what's happening here in East Africa. So the follow-up portion after this was just our initial interest meeting. Now we'll get into follow-up. We have everyone's registration information, everyone who went on Eventbrite and registered. So we already know what tier you're interested in. We already know whether or not you want to utilize the payment plan. We already have that information. So with the contact information that you provided, you would look out there for us to reach out to you, okay? Thai Tours is going to reach out to you guys for the next step. The deposit, we'll let you know where and when. We already let you know when, but where to get that done. You don't have to wait until March 1st. If you're ready to pay your deposit now, you can do that. We're ready to receive it. And then just get you started on your payment plan process. The deposits are $500 and those are due on the 1st of March. Again, we will reach out to you for the follow-up on that. Is there anything else? Closing remarks from Baba Haki, Sister Kim, Baba Sintwali? Sister Kim first.
Yes, I just want a show of hands. Who's actually, based on this call, actually interested in going? Could you just put your hand up if you think that this is a tour for you? Miss Vonetta, Miss Felicia, Stephanie. Okay. Okay, 3 out of 15. That's a big deal. Swatar, you have great numbers. Oh, Nikala. Okay. So we'll make sure that we reach out. Christopher, thumbs up. Okay, Chris. So we see you guys here. And Anthony, Mr. Ramsey. Thank you. Okay, we see those that are interested here. And so we're going to make a note to reach out to you first. Thank you guys for being here on the interest
Some
meeting.
people had to leave early. And like Mama Imara, she was the one asking about the flight accommodation. She had to leave early also.
And Manasseh is already in Africa.
Yes, Manasseh lives in Africa.
Ujamaa, I'm sorry, I'm my Swahili. You know, I'm still from West Baltimore. Thank you, Daniel. I'll get better.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, I'll go. So everybody, thank y'all for joining us on this call. if anybody knows somebody who works with children or has like a children's enrichment program, something that develops children, there is a full-on possible opportunity to do exchange, or not necessarily exchange, but cultural immersion, to bring a group of children from the States, bring them here, and they can get a wealth of experiences and just a whole lot of different learning that's totally possible. So
And that's a different form of investment.
Yes.
That's investment also.
yes, totally. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Like I said, thanks y'all for coming out, for joining us here, and we're looking forward to the future. We got a lot of work to do, y'all.
Sister Nicola, did you have a comment, or is your hand just still raised?
My hand is just still raised, but
Okay.
I'm always ready to have a comment, you know. So I just want to say thank you to both of you for having the spirit of community that leads you to not only benefit from the opportunities that you find, you know, for yourselves and for your family and extended family, you know, but also to share those opportunities and provide constantly for so many others to be empowered if they choose to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama Nicola, for keeping that flame ignited within us all. Okay, Baba Haki.
Okay, so I just want to thank you all for your time. It's been great, even me listening to Sotara and our brother Sintali, and you know, you all had some good questions, so I'm very grateful and appreciative for the opportunity. Of course, like Kim said, this may not be for you right now. Of course, I know that all of you are, since you know Sister Sotara, your spirit is there. It may just be timing or everything, but you know, you may know someone, of course, that may be like ready. If you hear somebody even thinking of going, visiting, touring, please, you know, support Sister Sotara and their work in whatever way you can, and you know, make a referral as well. So, but we look forward to working with you. Thank you all for joining us.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then we will go ahead. Wait. Wait.
Screenshot from the chat box.
What'd you say, Nicola?
I said, can you wait a minute before you close out the Zoom so that we can take some screenshots from the information in the chat box?
Yes. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up, Baba Haki.
Is that a black bucket hat? Like, yes.
Okay. I'll leave the Zoom open, but the meeting is over. I'll stop recording now. Thank you for coming. And those of you who didn't raise your hand about interest, just give it a little time, think about it, sleep on it, and see if you change your mind.